Let me start with a story. There are moments that the truth doesn't just challenge you, it really kind of exposes you. And that's exactly what happened for me a few years ago. I was listening to a podcast by Ed Milet, great podcast, one of the top business rated podcasts in the world. And it was like Ed was talking directly to me. He began by describing this person. This person had very similar traits to me. He was talking about a metaphorical person. He was talking about this kind of guy. And I was nodding right along thinking, yeah, that's me. That's me. No, 100%. He's got me nailed. And then he said something that I'm pretty sure made me cuss. And I know with certainty that it did make me pretty aggressively turn the podcast off. What he said was, you have a habit of breaking promises. The YouTube acceptable version of what I thought was, that's not true at all. What I actually thought can't be shared across public airwaves. I was certain that I was not a promise breaker. I was very confident in the fact that I was a man who had a habit and a reputation of keeping promises. Number one, because my kids always used it against me. They would get me to say the words I promise, and then they knew it was going to happen. That all actually stems from some trauma that was inflicted in childhood, emotional trauma that was inflicted in childhood. And so it was really drilled into me that I was going to keep promises. So I shut that podcast off. I could not get to the mouse fast enough to shut that thing down. But upon further reflection, I realized that Ed had built enough credibility with me that I wanted to hear what he was going to say. I had been listening to him long enough at that point, and I still listen to him. I'd been listening to him long enough at that point a couple of years ago that he had earned the right to be heard because he had helped me so much. So I eventually turned the podcast back on, and what he said next didn't just challenge me, it wrecked me. I actually had to shut the podcast off for a few more minutes so that I could maintain my composure, dry my tears so that I could see and be able to think clearly. Because as he went on, he wasn't talking about breaking promises to other people. He was talking about breaking promises to myself. And I suddenly realized that he was describing me to a T, right down to that line that I hated. I wasn't outwardly a promise breaker. Outwardly, everybody who knew me would say, Floyd keeps his promises. But I was in a habit of breaking promises to myself.